viewers at home, you are welcome to today's edition of Newspapers Today. My name is Kayode Adebayo. Let me give you some of the available newspapers that are here for review this morning. First, I have with me the Leadership newspaper. I also have a Business Day here. I have the Vanguard newspaper with me. Then the Daily Sun is also here. And I have the Nation newspaper is also here. Then I have the Guardian with me. And there is the Punch newspaper here. I also have with me here the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Also with me here is This Day newspaper. And lastly, I have this one, Daily Trust newspaper. Let me quickly go through the headlines as contained in the newspapers today. On the front page of the Leadership newspaper, I have this one, voter registration surge. Stakeholders worried over January collection date for new PVCs. On the front page of Business Day newspaper, I have this one. Nigeria faces fiscal time bomb, says World Bank. Then on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, I have this one. Forest across Nigeria taken over by terrorists. That is coming from Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu. Then on the front page of the Daily Sun, I have this one. 2023 presidency, Buhari opens up on Emefiele's ambition. Then on the front page of the Nation newspaper, I have this one. Why we drop subsidy removal plan? That is coming from President Buhari. Then on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, I have this one. Buhari to Western governments. Nigeria operates on economic model. That is Buhari telling the Western nations. Then on the front page of the Punch newspaper, I have this one. Fuel scarcity worsens. Black market blooms at 300 naira per liter. Then I have another headline on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Subsidy removal untenable. Buhari tells IMF, World Bank. Then on the front page of This Day newspaper, Buhari defends Emefiele, says CBN governors unorthodox policies best for economy. Then lastly, on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, how unresolved feud between CJN justices led to public spat. Those are the headlines as contained in the newspaper for today. And with me in the house is my regular guest on the program, Citizen Olawe. You are welcome on the program.
Good morning.
You are welcome.
Yeah,
how's the family?
We're doing good.
You are welcome. Now, let's begin to review the newspapers now. Let me start with the Leadership newspaper. Voter registration surge. Stakeholders worried over January collection date for new PVCs.
Yeah, the worry is as a result of the forthcoming general election.
Okay.
It is fixed for February 2023, and then with a large turnout of people to register for their permanent voters registration. I believe stakeholders are worried about the ability of INEC to be able to produce and distribute all the permanent voter cards to the new registered voters before the commencement of the electoral process in 2023.
All right, let's have this one. From Business Day, Nigeria faces fiscal time bomb, says World Bank.
Nigeria's economy, as it is presently, is actually very worrisome. And this is due to so many factors. The ongoing war in Russia has affected us heavily.
Okay.
Because Nigeria is an import-dependent economy, and then we have not been able to break that grip of the developed world on our economy. And then it has also affected oil supply. Unfortunately, this is the time that Nigeria should have been smiling, but we also export our crude and then depend on importation of refined fuel. And then this also has comes with a lot of disadvantages. Lost revenue, because the rate at which we sell the crude is not the same at which we bring in the refined ones, despite the fact that we have also lost the opportunity of the byproduct of benefiting from the byproduct of the refined fuel, and then the cost of transporting it out of Nigeria and bringing it back, and then having to pay in order to now cushion the effect of the high cost of getting the PMS across to Nigerians has also necessitated the need for the payment of subsidy, which has become a serious problem for us because of corruption as well. And then the cost on the economy itself, the cost of paying subsidy, something that ordinarily shouldn't happen if we are producing, refining our fuel locally. And then the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine has also, and then they just concluded primaries of the political parties in Nigeria, has also made the cost of the foreign exchange to rise, because from what we had, people were paid in foreign currencies, and this has implication for importers. And since Nigeria is an import-dependent country, and then the recent increase in the cost of the interest is also hurting the economy, because once the interest goes up, investors will not be willing to borrow money because of the high cost, and when they do not borrow, investments will reduce, and then it also affects production. If the production level is lower than demand level, price will go up. So there are a number of factors working against us, and then that's coupled with the fact that we are yet to recover from the consequences of coronavirus and the NSARS, and then unfortunately all this happened about the time that we had rains that farmers should have gone to farms. So we are also faced with the problem of food insecurity, quite apart from the problems between herders and farmers, that is also ongoing simultaneously. So it's like Nigeria is at the receiving end from all fronts. Nigeria's economy is at the receiving end from all fronts. So, but I believe that with time we'll get over it.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly see this story before we move ahead. Buhari says Nigerians better off now than in 2015.
If you look at in terms of fighting corruption, I said to a reasonable extent, yes, because people now are bold to speak up and take up and report corrupt cases than it was in the past. And then, unfortunately, however, is the fact that corruption seems to have found home with us because we celebrate money bags. In our religious organizations, I think the religious organizations have even done badly in helping to fight corruption because they recognize only money bags. instead of focusing on the character of the person. And then our traditional rulers also honor people with money, encouraging Nigerians to dip their hands into places where their hands should not be found. And then with corruption, it's difficult to fight insecurity. Even though this administration, I would say, has made some progress with the purchase of equipment, machines, and ammunition, and fighter jets to prosecute the war against terrorism. But the problem, another problem that we have with fighting insecurity is the problem of fake news, hate speech. All this fuel insecurity.
Okay, now let's move on. Forests across Nigeria taken over by terrorists. That is coming from Governor Akeredolu.
Well, from the news that keeps coming in on a daily basis, there's tendency for one to believe that yes, there's serious problem in our forests. But how do we confront that problem is what should be our focus. And that is why I talk about, one, the most important thing is that Nigerians must become patriotic. They must become loyal to the country. But we are not. We pay only lip service when we say the pledge without meaning it. Without it coming from our hearts. We don't say it with our lips, without meaning what we say. Because with patriotism, we will do everything that we defend the integrity of the nation. But because of corruption, because of ethnicity, because of religion, we easily forget that whatever happens to Nigeria is happening to us. And yes, there are foreign terrorists, but what about the domestic terrorists? What about those that are aiding and abetting them? Yes, our borders are porous. Why? Because of corruption. Yes, we have very large expanse of land that is difficult to police. But the ones that we police, the ones where we have security agencies, are they at their best? Do they put the country first? Do they show that they have the fear of God? Yes, you have churches, mosques everywhere, but there's no fear of God anywhere. So I think there's a lot to be done in addressing the problem of terrorists, whether in the forest or in the city, because where the attack took place in Owo is not a forest, and those who came to attack the church definitely mingled with some people before the attack took place. What did we do? What was done to prevent that attack? What narrative has been going on since after the attack? Is the narrative in the interest of the country? Is the narrative helping us to solve the insecurity problem or fueling insecurity problem?
Okay, let's move to the Daily Sun newspaper. Buhari opens up on Emefiele's ambition, says it is left for CBN Board of Directors to take action.
Yeah, I say yes, the president appoints the governor of the central bank, but then the activities of central bank is guided by an act. And then the CBN also has a board of directors that oversee its daily activities. Then sometimes we can express some concerns about the expression of interest of the governor of central bank in partisan politics, especially being the first time that such is being witnessed. But I'm sure that the act did not even anticipate such a development. So the act didn't capture what should be done in that circumstance. The Act specify instances where the governor of central bank can be sacked, and then the president cannot sack the governor of central bank alone. He must have 2/3 of the Senate supporting or bringing up the issue of the removal of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And then the central bank governor can be sacked if he becomes insane, if he's found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction of criminal activities, and those are some of the instances which the governor can be sanctioned.
That means the procedure is a bit cumbersome.
Yes, and then it has to be followed.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the Nation newspaper. Why you dropped subsidy removal plan by Buhari?
It's quite unfortunate that we're where we are, because ordinarily I didn't expect that we will still be talking about subsidy removal or not subsidy removal. 8 years, almost 8 years gone now. I would have expected that in 8 years, new refineries ought to have been built, or private individuals, more private individuals or organizations ought to have been encouraged to build more refineries. And then when these governments came in, this present administration, they were talking about modular building of modular refineries. I don't know what has happened to all that, because assuming all those things are in place, assuming our refineries are working at maximum capacity, it will create employment. It will solve a lot of our problems. It will create employment for Nigerians. It will help us save the foreign reserve that is used in importing refined oil. The lost byproducts of refined oil will also have formed raw materials for some local industries that would have created employment and also reduce the cost of producing those products. And then the need for paying subsidy wouldn't have a reason. So I think our major problem is not being able to refine our crude here in Nigeria, and that should be addressed squarely. I think it's almost too late for this administration, but the incoming administration, whosoever that would be coming in as the president, should convince us of the plans he has to build new refineries and ensure that we do not import refined oil. We should refine our crude here locally.
All right, let me move to another story on the Guardian newspaper. Buhari to Western governments. Nigeria operates own economic model.
Yes, Nigeria is a sovereign country. We have a right to operate our own economic model. Paying subsidy or not paying subsidy should not be the problem of other countries. Should be our own concern. I remember there were instances when the subsidy were attempted to be removed. If the subsidy is removed, I'm sure this country something will happen in this country. And in order to prevent that, because Nigeria is already the world capital of poverty, if the subsidy is removed, more people will fall below the poverty line, and that will bring about an increase in the present level of insecurity, malnutrition, and then all sorts of evils. Employments will be lost because cost of production will rise. So level of production will fall. Fewer goods will be produced. The purchasing power will be low. So it's be nothing but misery. Okay. And then the international communities are simply protesting their own interests. They can't be interested in our interests. So we have to look at what is good for us and do that which is good for Nigerians. And that was why I talked about being that we should be loyal to Nigeria, and that we should be, what is it now? We should be good citizens of Nigeria.
Okay, more committed to the interest of
the good of Nigeria.
Okay. Now let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Fuel scarcity worsens. Black market booms at 300 naira per liter.
I'm worried, but it's unfortunate, and it's still what I was talking about: corruption and lack of patriotism by Nigerians. The black market. How come black market is booming if those stations do not have fuel? Who supplies the black market? Why is the black market business booming? Is there no regulatory organization that should prevent that and ensure that there is that fuel is sold at designated places and not risk the lives of people? Because when you talk about black markets, it comes with its own risk. Because it means that fuel is not being sold at designated places with necessary safety gadgets in place. But because of corruption, because we have developed this love for quick money, and we don't mind how it comes. If it's going to come at the expense of another person's life, all we want is money. And money, we need to start de-emphasizing the value, the importance of money in our lifestyle. We should not use material well-being to determine the success of people. Until we start doing that, we will continue to have people not putting the interest of the country first, and then the level of patriotism will continue to fall.
All right. Now, from Nigerian Tribune now, subsidy removal untenable, Buhari tells IMF, World Bank.
I agree with him, just like as I have explained, because it's going to bring untold misery to the ordinary people. Cost of production will rise because most industries depend heavily on their own self-generating plants that has to be fueled at a high cost. Transportation of raw materials and finished products is by the cost. Once the cost of fuel goes up, cost of transporting them will go up, and who bears the difference is a poor man. There's going to be loss of employment. Poverty level will rise. Insecurity will rise as well. So it is not in our interest at this moment. We do not have an alternative. Government should just look for a way to pay subsidy, the difference between the actual cost and the recommended selling price. And then the regulatory agencies should do their work effectively. And then the coming administration should tell us precisely how they intend to fix the problem of fuel importation.
Now, let's quickly see this story before we round up. Ekiti poll, free, fair. Candidates should accept outcome. That is coming from the observer groups.
Yes, I actually also, although I wasn't in Ekiti, but there's a group that I belong to that were in Ekiti. And then from the present improvements in the activities of INEC, and then coupled with the amendments of the Electoral Act.
Okay.
It has brought a lot of improvements to the process. So I will just say, in the interest of they should just accept the victory of accept that the person that won has won, and with the spirit of with the sportsman spirit, so that we can move on.
All right. Now, viewers at home, this is where we are going to end the program for today. It has been Citizen Lolawe with me on the program today. Citizen Lolawe, I highly appreciate your coming.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Viewers at home, tomorrow is another day when you meet my colleague on the program again, Newspapers Today. Until then, I am Kayode Adebayo saying bye-bye.